great. And
Now
while
John of Arkansas.
while I'm doing that, let me go ahead and say happy birthday to Debbie Wilson, the owner of Patches Lounge. The reason I bring her up, she's a friend, but they keep winning. They've won the best martini in Mobile several times from the nappies.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know. And Johnny Barbado in high school with Johnny's Front Porch in Lillian, Alabama. Oh, also
In the greater Lillian metropolitan area.
That's it, right. Oh, and Alec Naiman.
I know him.
Hey, Mike, I want to thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. It's still happy anniversary. And Steve, I don't know who you are, but you know what? Before you make something, you need to start it with the root. Take your butter and your flour and then add you some milk.
Nice.
There you go.
He almost sounds like
Oh yeah. Well, that's kind of like saying he's kind of
He
like
just
saying,
needs to meet Alec.
yeah, you got to meet Alec. Go to the Piggly Wiggly up here on University Boulevard at the airport,
Still haven't been yet.
and go to the Naaman's Market there, the deli there.
Oh, does Alec hang out there?
Oh, he's always there.
Oh,
He
well,
is always there.
working
I mean, he
distance.
runs that. He runs that.
I know Tom's working there too. Tom was ready to retire, and Alex said,
Hey, Tom. Let's go to Piggly Wiggly.
Well, they sell those there.
it's biscuits and
So anyway,
mustard up there.
Happy birthday to all those fine folks. Johnny Barbados plays. You know, he's a musician. He's played around town. He's got Britt Mitchell playing with him a lot. He's also the one who did the riff to "Old Time Rock and Roll" by Bob Seger. A lot of people don't know that about him.
The piano riff.
And no, the guitar
Oh, okay.
riff for he didn't like the way Brett's wife explained it to me, deceased wife, bless her soul. He said that they didn't like the way the Swampers did it.
Oh,
He didn't like the way the Swampers did it, but he heard Brett's, and he said, I like that. I like the way you play the guitar, and he played it, and that's what they use on there, and that's what I was told by his wife. So I don't think she would tell me a story. But anyway, hey,
Wait a minute.
Hey, how
did
you
you
doing?
say ex-wife?
well, she died.
former, well, late wife.
She died.
Late.
She died last year. She's sweet, just the sweetest person. And he misses her. I know he does. And speaking of deaths, when we're
Yeah.
about to so John Wichman died. Wichman. It sounds like witch, Mike. Say witch. John Wichman of Wichman's All Seasons and other places, the Italian fisherman on Ocean Road. He passed away last Friday, a week ago.
Yeah. John was one of the legendary chefs of the city of Mobile. Him and our other buddy Constantine's. They really
Joe
were.
Penny, George Penny too.
Yeah, just groundbreakers that were doing the chef thing in a city that for the longest time rejected anything chef driven. But they were the groundbreakers.
Absolutely.
And then the other one that left us a few years ago, Chef Fletcher, who was also really a groundbreaker because he was the black chef owner of the first Chinese restaurant in Jim Crow, Mobile, Alabama. So,
Okay.
but he's the one. Chef Fletcher used to do a column for Zalia. And
Okay.
it was going back to the history of Mardi Gras in the 30s and 40s and bringing up the recipes. He's the one that repopularized Jezebel sauce.
Wow.
Jezebel sauce.
Jezebel.
What is that?
It is a peculiar mix of apple jelly,
Okay.
peach, pineapple, or apricot preserves, horseradish, and black pepper. Equal
Wow.
parts of all four.
Wow.
It is weird, but it's fantastic on pork. And when Mancy's that was on Triple D, they put it on a burger, and I've done it on a burger. It's fantastic.
Sounds like something you would marinate.
No,
No marinade. Just
no, it's a
lather it on.
condiment, yeah,
Ah,
or a glaze on a ham.
okay.
But
Nice.
really good. So
Sounds
yeah,
better on
so
that
Chef
latter part, yeah.
Witchman, as Mike said,
Witchman, yeah.
was just I've known his name my entire life, even before I thought of being a
Mhm.
pudgy little chef.
He bought a lot of he carried a pretty extensive wine selection, and he was always a good customer. And later on, as we got to know each other more, he became a friend. So And he always, and we've had him on the show before. We had John on the show one other time. I can't remember if you were here that day or not.
I was probably in the hospital.
It may have been, but he came on.
You
to
had a lot of
discuss
guests in the 2 years
during that
I was
time.
up
That's
there,
right.
which is something that has happened in the last 13 years.
Uh-huh.
I died almost.
Yeah,
It
me,
took 2
me and you
years.
both.
Yeah,
You come closer than I did.
yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah. Well,
Who was your first guest?
Our first guest today,
actually, it was Cinco de Mayo.
it
So
was on
today, actually, calendar-wise, today is the last day of our year. Tomorrow would be the first day of our 13th year.
Oh, okay.
Our first guest was Armando with Aztecas.
Mike ain't even going to try the last name. We've tried. neither one of
Hacienda,
us.
San Miguel, Los Rancheros. I first met Armando at Los Rancheros,
The
and
one,
then-
number one, right across the
right
street.
here at their first
In the
restaurant.
airport? Yeah.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
about 40 years ago.
That used to be my date night place when I was in my 20s.
Well, that was a happening place. You had
Yeah.
everybody had to go there. It was Cinco de Mayo. We went there. That's upside down too. Yeah. That's what it is. Anyway, we went to we'd go on Friday nights and Saturday nights, but back to back, because that's where everybody went to be seen,
Yep.
and you saw everybody.
I
you
didn't know
knew
that.
there.
I just like cheese dip. So
There
did
you
my
go.
girlfriend. And with this being Cinco de Mayo weekend, I have some huge news that Steve especially is going to love.
Yeah.
The Moe's Barbecue, formerly Moe's Barbecue there in Sims at the Walmart.
Yeah.
Stopped by the other day. There's construction. I go, oh, is that where Big Mike's Steakhouse is going? So I step up and I ask the fellas that are in there working, and the one that speaks English says, no, this is going to be a Mexican restaurant specializing in seafood,
Ooh.
like Fuego. That was Fuego's thing.
Wow.
Yeah. In
And
Sims.
how fast?
They were working on the dining room area. So
Wow.
I don't know how much work they had to do in the kitchen, but so very exciting about that. That's a Cinco de Mayo. Don't know the name of it. I mean, I only had so much language barrier. Oh, Mike, you have a one upside down, man. You would have never known.
Oh my God. How are we gonna get this straightened out? We're gonna have to reorganize when we go break.
Yeah. So Cinco de Mayo, all kinds of stuff.
Something else
Yeah.
special going on today too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh yeah, Auburn's got to finish the 10th inning that started last night and then immediately started raining.
Oh. So where you
Baseball.
going after this? You're not going
I'm
down?
not sure now. I was thinking about going to Cinco de Mayo downtown. Roosters
Yeah.
got a whole hog that they're doing.
Joey Mason.
Yeah,
Mason Farms.
yeah, from Mason Hill Farms. That's the beef for the carne asada. Is the Mason Hill Farms? It
yeah.
probably supplied the pig as well.
Mhm.
It might go to Cinco de Mayo Roosters.
I was thinking something had to do with something completely different.
Well, we'll talk about it when we come back.
Oh, okay.
251-343-0106 is their call and text in line. Why don't you do that, folks?
It's
Wish
ours
us
too, yeah.
happy anniversary or something.
Not yet. We take Venmo. So I was about to yell. We take Venmo.
For more than 50 years.
All right, so you're gonna introduce.
Yeah, it's just a clip that talks about.
I told Steve I got a question for him later on in the show.
Just to recognize
Man, he's-
so you're right. You can tell what's upside down.
Well, you're sitting there in front of him looking at him. You couldn't tell.
Well, I'm just thinking, you guys have seen these signs a couple hundred times.
It just proves Rebel Skull.
See, you like my shirt? I have not worn it since I bought it.
When they,
Like 4 years ago.
When Ole Miss started catching flack about having the Colonel as their Colonel Red as their mascot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's racist. How is Colonel Sanders racist?
Right.
But well, probably the rebel flag is on top. Yeah, they said, well, they're rebels. Could be anything. They said, I just run somebody out there dressed as Luke Skywalker.
At each unit comes with an attached garage.
And my solution was, yeah, just run somebody out there dressed like a fucking colonel from Mississippi. What do you expect? You're Mississippi.
One of the
As a resident
easiest voices
Spring Hill,
to
you
do.
also enjoy easy
No
access to
Colonel.
Miami's most popular
Colonel
shopping,
Mississippi.
and entertainment destinations.
Down in
and still
South,
manage downtown.
Yeah, I mean, we arranged all those voices, you know,
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny and all those.
8099 and find out more at
Remember
How do you
the-
do that? Oh, I've been listening to them all my life.
I've listened to Mel Blanc my entire
Yeah.
life.
Remember
He
the-
did something really interesting that was pointed out to me. I did not know this, but on that famous,
fridge on the fridge.
duck season, rabbit season, that is Mel doing the voice of Daffy while doing Bugs and the opposite.
He's just one mic, right?
Do you know that?
I mean, he's doing his own
It's
character.
bouncing,
Plus,
yeah.
the character is doing the characters. How do you do that?
Do you know that he was in a coma? He was in a bad accident and he almost died. He was in a coma and people kept coming up talking to him. So one day somebody says, "So Bugs,
HSC service
what's,
specialist.
what's up, Doc?"
Your entire home.
And he
all back.
Snapped out.
came out of his coma.
Guaranteed. 800.
But,
744.
What was the other? Oh, remember the cartoon where they had the coyote, the southern coyote, hey y'all, and he had the rebel flag and he had the rebel. Yeah. That was my
Oh, there's a
favorite
lot of
character.
cartoons we haven't been able to see for several years.
Oh, and the Martian. I love the Martian. What was his name?
Marvin.
Marvin.
What about
Another thing about Mel Blanc. Another thing about Mel Blanc. He was on camera in Trading Places. When they first take Lewis to jail, he's the sergeant at the desk and goes, "PCP, Angel Dust, have you seen what this will do to a kid?"
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he's got about a 3-minute scene with that.
Here we go.
With Dan Aykroyd in jail.
To get on the line, call 343-0106. Now back to
Folks, Mike mentioned earlier that today is a very special day in many ways, and the most special way is it's May the 4th.
Yes.
And if you don't get it, we're going to explain it to you. Or actually, Tim Russ will.
May the 4th be with you. You've probably heard that quite a bit, but what does it mean? Why is everyone saying it? I'm Star Trek Voyager's Tim Russ, and I'm here to explain Star Wars Day. You see, May the 4th celebrates a movie called Star Wars. In Star Wars, the 4th is a powerful...
And he calls it the Star Wars. I had to edit that out. Like, really, dude?
He's doing it on purpose. It's a joke.
Are able to do crazy things like fix something up or tell people they're wrong. These aren't the droids you're looking for. But why May the 4th? May the 4th is Star Wars birthday. So when you say May the 4th be with you, you're really saying happy birthday, Star Wars. But what is Star War? Star War is like a regular war, only instead of bullets, it's got lasers. And in the Star Wars, there is only
I dressed it up.
it is a doozy. You see, Darth Vader, the bad guy, hates Luke Skywalker because he is his son. Sounds like a bad dad if you ask me. Anyway, because he's so mad at his son, he builds a giant ball that can blow up Earth. Luke and his friends, Obi, Hans, Robot, Pill, and Chewbacca, find the ball and realize that's no moon, the space station. So they go inside it. And guess who's there? Darth Vader and his boss, the garbage octopus. Now his friends all save the girl character and try to leave, but not before Darth Vader turns Obi into laundry. There's only one thing to do. Get his X thing and kill
X thing.
Bill gets his head blown off, so Luke uses the 4th to put a laser in the death ball's hole. Solo death ball. Wizard even gives the humans a medal. That's the end of Star Wars. No, just kidding. They made a bunch more of them. I'm Star Trek Voyager's Tim Russ. Hopefully now you have a comprehensive understanding of Star Wars. May the 4th be with you.
And when did that come out? Like 11 years ago? I play it every year. That is just
Star Wars?
no
Oh, that.
the
That
Tim Russ-
means, okay.
yeah, explaining the Star Wars.
Well, what's ironic about it is Tim is from Star Trek.
Yeah, many
Not Star
different
Wars.
versions of Star Trek, but mostly Star Trek Voyager. He played Tuvok, who was a Vulcan.
Yep.
That was assigned to Voyager. He also appeared in other episodes of Next Generation as different
Oh, yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a fine actor, but I've always thought that was very clever.
It is very clever.
And it does sum up
Being
to-
R2D2.
Yeah. Well, what they couldn't see is when he says "and Chewbacca," they show an Ewok.
Right. Too funny.
And what got cut out of it was, and when they gave him the awards, he says, and everyone got an award except for Pill. Sorry, Pill.
Bill being R2D2.
Yeah.
Too funny. Bill Finch talking to him before the show this morning. He said, I have never seen Star Wars. He's one of the few in America or in the world that have never seen Star Wars.
I'm not sure Bill owns a TV set.
I saw the original, and to me, I was one of those people. The original, you just can't duplicate it, and you can't do anything to make it better. And so I had never seen another one. And then one day Brandon said, "Hey, let's go." It was Hollywood Theater at the time, and he said they got it in 3D. They've got a new Star Wars movie in 3D. And I said, okay. And I went and we put the glasses on. And I'm going to tell you what, that was amazing in 3D because it looked like they were flying right beside your head, coming right beside you. Whoa, this is great.
That first scene when the big, I can't even think, the
Star
Destroyer
Destroyer
comes over the top. I went and saw the original in a place called the Cooper, which was a full round immersive theater with Bose sound, and we're up in the top row, and it's just black. And you don't have the normal seating. It's kind of 45-degree angle, so you don't have any obstruction. And when that, all the lasers start coming through, and that thing come over, I mean, everybody just,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Steve, do you know how they made the sound effect for the lasers?
It is actually, yes, it's a Foley secret where you take, when you hit the suspension line on a telephone pole.
Yep, guy lined
Yeah.
with a giant crescent wrench.
Yep.
And as soon as I saw that on the making of Star Wars, I went outside because we had a guy line on our power, hitting my dad's crescent wrench. I am doing Star Wars.
Yeah, one of the coolest things. They just had a little bit of electronics to it.
Yeah.
Most of that old filming, there was no CG. There was no, that's one of my favorite areas of life. I'm a geek when it comes to that.
Well, Star Wars changed movies.
Oh, God.
And then Empire Strikes Back did something that no movie franchise had ever done before, or probably since. Had a good second movie. That's the best sequel
That's
of
what I
all time.
was.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back is the best sequel of all time.
I won't go back and see a lot of sequels because sometimes I don't think you can compare.
Well, keep in mind what made Empire Strikes Back really special. It's the good guys lost at the end.
Yeah.
That you never saw that.
Well, you knew there was going to be another one after that.
That was the cliffhanger. The tricky part is you said, most movies didn't succeed. Walt Disney fought hard and long to not make a second Pigs. He said, you can only make one, Three Little Pigs. They proved him wrong in years after. But, and at the same time, it's a little bit redundant, in Disney. They went through how many times in the 90s now, all the characters had kids. It's like, really? This is like the 30th anniversary now of the Goofy movie, which is awesome. But, you think about, you start looking at it, and now they've made how many more, Star Wars anthologies and part of the canon. I mean, it is just absolutely enormous.
And very little of it good.
All the franchises.
Yeah, so the Disney stuff that last trilogy was horrible.
Hey, we got some text messages.
Happy anniversary.
Well, David Hubble, happy anniversary, Mike and Stu.
Hey, that's us.
Here's to another Sean Sullivan. We know him.
Yeah.
He's taking time out of his turkey hunting. This is still turkey season.
Hey, if you're
fishing.
Well, somebody
Happy
posted
turkey
yesterday
season.
that they had the best Saturday. They said right after we got the last strike to win the game over Tennessee, this gobbler walked right in front of me, and he's holding the turkey up. I'm like, that is a good Saturday.
So, if I could get a time for my dyslexic engineer, how many more minutes? Okay. You're good. You're good. We're having a good time.
Goodness.
All right, Steve. Have you ever been to Lincoln, Nebraska?
I have.
I have. Yes.
You've been.
It's been a week there.
All right.
Stay in the Cornhusker.
You like cinnamon rolls.
I do like cinnamon rolls.
You like chili.
I've never had chili and cinnamon rolls though.
Mike would.
Cinnamon rolls and chili. I was just looking at things last night on Instagram, and Alton Brown shows up on there, and he's got a bowl of chili and a big old fat drippy cinnamon roll, and he's dipping the cinnamon roll into the chili and eating it. And then I had to Google it because somebody to my left here always says, Google it, Google it.
Well,
Give it a
yeah.
goog.
And so I Googled it, Stu, and it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a
Cinnamon
thing.
rolls and chili. is-
Well,
Yeah.
I spent a week there, never encountered it, but I will tell you that that Boulevard Wheat Hefeweizen, that is the local beer of the city, is fine, son.
I bet that would be good with that too. So,
Mm.
but this week I
Yeah,
will
and
be.
what is the Haystack District? Is
Yes.
the entertainment wonderful place? I ate at an incredible Indian restaurant in Lincoln, Nebraska.
I guarantee you.
The shawarma stands are on every corner. You can get a euro. If there's two streets come together, there's 4 euro shops.
I guarantee you this week I will be buy me a big old juicy drippy
Cinnamon roll
cinnamon
and
roll.
chili.
And I'm gonna go to a restaurant that I know has good chili. And I'm gonna sit there at the table and try it.
What
Well-
restaurant is that for good chili?
I like Roy's over at Butch
I
Cassidy's.
figured that's where.
Have you ever done, since we're on the subject of Midwest chili, have either of you ever tried Skyline chili?
I have, but I didn't have it in Cincinnati. I had it in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's not really chili. It just looks and is kind of similar to it. It's a Greek dish, but there's dark cocoa powder in it, a hint of cinnamon, and they have it. It's served up to 5 ways. Usually it's the chili over, and then you can add beans to it. You can serve it over spaghetti. You can add onions. You can add cheese. I think jalapenos. That's like 5 ways all.
Wow.
Once the first time you taste, you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then like 2 days later, go, sure would like some more of that weird tasting chili.
That does sound interesting. I mean, at first when you say cinnamon, you just mentioned it, cinnamon.
Very
buns, cinnamon
sweet
rolls
and cinnamon.
with cinnamon and chili, because that's an interesting
Just a hint,
contrast.
not too much. You don't want it to taste like dessert. But
But I'm gonna try it this week. 251-343-0106 is the call and text in line. We'd love to hear from you.
My throat dried out there. Did a short this week about Master Island.
Oh, you did?
Give your puppy the best start.
One I dropped last night, I sent to a buddy of mine. I said, I want to start putting more humor in my history shorts.
Socialization
Send it to him because he hated history growing up.
There's lots of humor in my shorts.
Yeah. And he said, that's awesome. I said, I was talking to a teacher at the nail salon. I said, the problem that we have teaching kids history is we give them dates and names to memorize. And that's not history. That's arithmetic. History is a story, tell a story.
Mostly clear.
I said,
the upper 50s.
people who don't know anything about the Old West can tell you all of the events that happened at the OK Corral because Tombstone was such a good movie and followed the storyline so close. That's how
Dates
you
every
teach
day,
it.
you know, there's never once when they open it or close it, you don't know the year.
Yeah.
You know, it's 18 something, you know, if you're a history buff, but, you know, with most people, when you tell a story, putting in that just briefly, you know, it was 1854 box, and that's it. You know, they don't want to know the month, they don't want to know. They don't care. They get a general time frame, you know, kind of gives up a
Reading the Call News. Since first published in 1897,
Mental
the Call
picture,
News
yeah.
has reported
Yeah.
on the issues that mattered.
That's
to
right.
people
It's kind of like the meme of
and continues to be ranked as one of Alabama's best.
why the ghosts, you know, some about the ghosts.
Many grocery and
We
convenience
think of
stores
ghosts as only in the
Alabama
1800s.
are
Can you imagine one coming up at 3 a.m.
located.
going, I'm Brittany, bitch? You don't think of a certain time
We
period.
can do that too.
Hmm.
For less than $1 per week. Call us today, 251.
My wife always puts a stick of Mexican cinnamon in
866
her chili.
Yeah.
Or visit us online.
Which is actually
at
cassis.
thecallnews.com.
Most of us have never had real cinnamon
Connected to the Call News.
because in Mexico there's a tree somewhere called cassis. It's much cheaper.
Cassis.
Cassis, Cassis, and it's in the same family that cinnamon is in.
I've had chocolate and chili.
Yeah, I've heard
A
of that.
little dark cocoa really brings it together.
Dark chocolate with a little jalapeno in it.
Well, it should be jalapeno.
Yeah. The chocolate jalapeno, I can eat that. I will, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, you can find Skyline. I think Publix has it on the cans. It's a blue and white can with the city of Cincinnati on it. Probably Fresh Market has it. That fancy new Piggly Wiggly may have it too. I don't know.
And the gang, as we are your ultimate destination for all things sports.
That sounds good. They do a chili dog with it as well. With a
You said that starts with a C, C-A-T-I-S-S?
Cassis?
Don't miss out. Tune in to stay ahead of the game.
US.
Southern Fairway Sports Radio Show right here on FM Talk 106.5.
All right, here we go. Cinnamon comes from Africa, Madagascar, India.
Back to Mike and Stu.
Say some words, Mike.
Hey, Rusty, Stu gave us not history, but a lesson on Mexican cinnamon while we were off the air.
Yeah,
Text.
yeah, read the text.
My wife always puts a stick of Mexican cinnamon in chili.
The interesting thing that I told them about Mexican cinnamon is it's not cinnamon. Most people in America, unless you've bought the high-end cinnamon, have had what's called cassis, which is a tree in the same family as cinnamon, but it grows well all over Mexico. Flavor-wise, it's almost, indeterminable. It's very similar. I'm sure a high-end baker could do a blind taste test and tell the difference,
Yeah.
but most people couldn't. But most of the cinnamon consumed in the U.S. is actually cassis, similar tree from Mexico, where cinnamon is from Southeast Asia, India, parts of Africa.
Yeah.
And
Well, Rusty's in Moss Point.
oh, okay. Well, he's eating cassis then.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Moss Point?
No. Cassis.
I believe it's Cassis.
Okay, because I'm finding Casilla.
It's probably Spanish.
Okay.
See, that shows how,
Cassis may be the French, because we're talking about culinary arts. So most of the time you default to French in culinary arts. In fact, when you get a culinary arts degree, one of the courses you're required to take is French for culinary arts. It's that integral into
Makes sense.
the culinary arts.
uh, Rusty being over Moss Point, that just shows how far our show goes, and that actually goes further.
We
than
gonna
that.
clear the other side of Agricola, don't we?
I tell you, and I
They
even have,
listen to us in Buzzard Roost
I have a friend that listens to us in South Africa online.
on the own line,
On FM Talk 106.5 in the app.
or
Uh,
Facebook,
plug
or
there.
YouTube.
There you go.
yeah, I knew
By the
those.
way, you guys are celebrating your 13th starting today, as it were. Thursday, was it?
Yeah.
Thursday was the 16th for WABH FM Talk 106.5.
That's right.
Happy birthdays.
Hey,
all.
that's us.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday, Sean.
So, folks, Mike and I do accept Venmo. So, you wanna chunk some cash at us, or give it? I just saw Mare State Park, which is for those who don't know, is the park that's on the causeway.
Right.
Just opened up 2, I believe it is, maybe 4 micro cabins, very small cabins, like a 1-room shotgun house right there on the bay that faces the interstate. It looked like on the map. That's awesome, man. And including the only ADA certified accessible cabins in the United States.
Huh.
Mini
ADA.
cabins. Yeah. American with Disabilities Act.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So wheelchair ramps and whatnot.
They've been working on that thing over there for like 2 years. They've been doing a lot of
Yeah,
improvements.
they had some larger cabins that were there on the, I believe it's facing the Blakely River.
Mhm.
That morning, I'm a late sleeper. I'm in that cabin. I'm up with sunrise because it's going to be right on your porch, looking across the Blakely River. And I've caught that sunset before at Mare. Got up at 4 a.m, set up a GoPro with a time lapse, went back to sleep.
Oh, man.
So I got the time lapse of the sun coming up over the hill of Spanish Fort,
Oh, wow.
over the Blakely, and it's just a stunning sunrise there. And I could see sitting out there on that the deck of one of those cabins, watching that sunrise with a little chai, or you coffee drinkers, be a good coffee drinker. In Mike's case, it'd be Irish coffee.
Some tea, yeah.
In fact, I might even do it with a glass of rum, then go back in, come back to sleep for a couple hours, then get up and go fishing. But if you they're open for rent now. I think they're $186 a night, which compare
Wow.
that to a hotel room. This has a kitchenette, and it's, it's one queen size bed. It's, it's for couples. You don't have to take a family
Yeah.
those. They've got bigger ones for that. But that
Wow.
just sounds awesome to me.
It is.
The upgrades on the state park there is, if you haven't been to Merritt, it is a gorgeous state park. And one of these days, Mike, we're going to talk those fools and letting us do a big dinner on that 300-foot pier out into the bay. Bay Shore. It's wide enough. I think you could actually line tables all the way up.
Mhm.
Then it does a T on the end. It goes 100 yards that, or 100 feet that way and 100 feet that way. So it's 200 feet on the T. You put an oyster bar on one side and you put your wet bar on the other side.
And then watch the fools fall in the water.
No.
Alligators.
Yeah.
Alligators.
I have not fished off that pier yet, but I didn't have about an 8 or 9 foot gator come up and check me out. Make sure.
Ooh, mercy.
I've been on an airboat there in the bay.
I haven't done that in a long
on
time.
north of Causeway, and those gators will run beside you.
They don't know
That
what you are.
tail can go fast. They
Oh,
can
yeah.
go fast, and they will. They'll come from the sides, and they'll see you, and they'll just like race the boat.
They're just trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Question
curious.
for you on that, and being a food show and all, is there a, and I don't know how, Sean Sullivan question, fishing for gators, is there a season?
You don't fish.
August.
You hunt. Yes, they are shot, and you have to get a tag because they use it to control the population.
I figured.
So there's only so many that they take, and Sean, like you said, would be the expert as to how many females or how many males you could take, what length they have to be.
Mm.
There may be, maybe that weekend or whatever it is, shoot whatever you can.
I don't know if it used to be in August, but I seem to think this last year was the end of July. But
They probably wait till their mating season is
But the
complete and
problem-
the eggs, because
Yeah.
we're getting ready in the mating season. You can go out to Merritt and you'll hear "Rah!"
problem-
That's their mating call.
you don't know if they're when they're in the water and it's nighttime. You don't know if they're male or female.
Right.
So you just see their
I was
eyes.
gonna ask that. So
Yeah, but see, like
how do
with-
you tell the difference
yeah.
between male and female?
Well, like deer, it's easy to tell, but there are only so many doe tags that they issue. They mainly want you shooting bucks because the females reproduce. Now, there's plenty of bucks running around there. It may not make a difference with the alligators.
There is not.
That's why I say go to your Outdoor Alabama app and check the regulations.
There you go.
Google it.
Well, you don't have, that app is phenomenal. If you haven't looked at Outdoor Alabama's app, which is where your fishing and hunting
Mhm.
licenses are handled, you can turn them on at any time. All I ever do is freshwater fishing. And somebody goes, "Hey man, you want to go out on a tuna boat with us?" You just go on the app, you add that saltwater thing, and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
It's really great. And at any time, if you want to know what the regulations are, you pull it up and it'll tell you what you can and cannot do. It's great.
Mobile Bay does not have and the Delta does not have a shortage of gators. There was a time though.
Yeah.
About 30 years ago or so, they're
Well,
It's
we
hard to
lost
find one.
all of our brown pelicans. And it was all caused from DDT runoff from the farms in Baldwin County going
Oh,
into the Delta.
wow.
And the brown pelicans we have now in Mobile Bay were transplanted from Louisiana. They're originally Louisiana brown pelicans. And they've brought them back to repopulate.
repopulate now.
The osprey population is doing well now, which we used to
Oh,
call
my God.
Seahawks, in case you didn't know. A Seahawk doesn't actually exist. They did DNA and found out an osprey is not a hawk, it's not an eagle, it's its own species.
Mhm. But a lot of eagles too.
Yeah.
I see eagles all the time now on the Bayway and the Causeway, and I've seen them fighting up in the air, and that's scary.
They are bullies. They will let the osprey catch a fish, and
Uh-huh.
then they'll come and take the osprey's fish from it. They're lazy and they're bullies.
Well, they're big. They can do that.
Nature's awesome.
Yeah.
Nature's awesome.
We have a beautiful Delta. We have a great Delta up there.
Wonderful resource that flows into Mobile Bay. People don't get the interconnectedness of it, but and it's hard to tell people to get excited about environmental stuff because there's been so much fear mongering with it. The way you make people take it seriously is you let them know how it impacts you. Mike, do you love Gulf shrimp?
I love Gulf shrimp.
Well, if we don't take care of Mobile Bay, there's not going to be any Gulf shrimp because they're all born in Mobile Bay.
We're right there north of the Causeway. There's grass beds in the water, in the shallow water, and it's full of baby shrimp
Mhm.
at the
Right,
beginning.
exactly. That's the nursery for the Gulf of
And
Mexico.
then all
Mobile
the fish come in there and they feed off that. but they don't eat them all because there's too many of them to eat.
Right, and that's why like a bluegill, when it lays eggs, it lays 10,000 eggs because maybe a couple hundred will survive.
Yeah.
Nature knows what it's doing. We just need to get out of its way. Yeah, this delta is an incredible resource. The bay is incredible. We live in a really great spot. And then you look back at the history of this country. It is remarkable as I'm going back and looking at it. The first ever major conflict between colonials and indigenous people was DeSoto and Tuscaloosa getting into it. That was the beginning of all of it. Then 200 years later, it starts up again with the Creek Indian War, which led us to the Trail of Tears, and the whole history. So that's Hernando DeSoto hanging out in Mobile, Andrew Jackson, Davy Crockett, Sam Houston hanging out in Alabama around the Delta. Aaron Burr came down here and spent time, the former president of the one that had the duel.
Hancock.
Yeah, Burr came down here after that, hung out in Baldwin County for a while. It's amazing how much of the history of this country came through Mobile Bay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and of course there's the stuff we all know with Farragut sailing up in there and the Battle of Mobile Bay and all this. But the more I delve into it, just good grief, everyone who's anyone in American history spent some time on the Mobile Tensas Delta.
Oh yeah.
That's why you do your Delta safaris, right?
That's right. I'm learning and then sharing what I learned. Just fascinating how important this
You
is.
look at a map
Okay.
and you see Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Right below is Lemoyne,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get into Crayola, and
And
all that's-
Lemoyne is named after Pierre Lemoyne,
Mhm.
the two brothers, being Volunteer Iberville, and all of that area. 27-mile Bluff is in that area. The original Indian village of Mauvilla that all of this gets its name from, they have no idea where that was. It was somewhere along the Alabama River, somewhere between here and probably Montgomery, but no clue where it was. The actual spot of the Burkhorn Creek attack on Burkhorn Creek in Escambia County that started the Creek Indian War, don't know where that was either. So there's still stuff out there for us to find about the history that we've already lived. It's just a great place to live down here.
And
And
to
then
mention all the good food, and,
Yeah.
and all of the cultures that came together.
yeah,
through
we've
that.
spoken that Creole food actually started in Mobile. Gumbo, first gumbo served in the New World, Dauphin Island. So, I mean, we're in prime spot for food and history.
Right.
Fishing.
Fish.
And fishing.
Fish.
I thought Steve was going to ask me if I had any gator recipe.
I was just about to, but you guys are going.
Well,
somewhere
fried
else.
gator
This
tail is just it's everything that chicken tenders wishes.
Not
they
my, gator's not my favorite thing. It really isn't. And
But I threw something at John Gibson one time
yeah,
for try. In Florida, they serve gator ribs. Now think about it. Looks like a pork rib, tastes like chicken.
why not just eat chicken?
Antibiotic.
Now, you said, think about it.
Antibiotics. 251-343-0106. Because, Mike, everything people describe as tasting like chicken tastes better than chicken. Gator is better than chicken. Squirrel is better than chicken. Rabbit is better than chicken. Python, not
No, I can't stand python. I bought some python. One time brought it here, jerky. We're like,
Oh man, I totally forgot I had a beverage for us to try on here. Made from corn, Mike. Something the Vietnamese ladies gave me. They said they found a person that does it, and they like boil the corn for like 30 minutes, and then strain it, and then add milk to it, and maybe some sugar, and you drink it as dessert. They gave me a jar, and I forgot to bring it in. Well, good. I guess I'll try it.
some Billy Joel, some bottle red, bottle white.
Scenes from an Italian restaurant.
Right. Have you seen the Garage Dad's version of it?
Yeah.
And it's got Weird Al Yankovic in it, playing the
Accordion.
accordion. When I sit there and watch that, I really actually listen to the words. And Billy Joel does like the Beatles did. he would take it from different levels
Yeah.
and speed it up, slow it down. And that's what he does in that song. It's just, I think that's got to be my favorite Billy Joel song because of what the Beatles created. There's a name for it, but they created this thing where they'll jump from, speeding up, slowing
Right,
down,
tempo
and tempos and all that. And he does it, and that makes the song interesting because you're telling different stories throughout the songs.
This guy is at a resort down in Mexico. He says, guy working at Secret Lagoon sees my hat. What university? I say, Auburn. He says, Cam Newton. I say, yes. He says, and Alabama is in the state of Auburn also. Yes, they are. Well, War Eagle. War damn Eagle. Whoa. Auburn put out T-shirts and caps back when we won 6 in a row over Alabama that had the state that said it's now the state of Auburn.
And zero deductible. You deserve every medical care coverage benefit out there, and we'll help you
So
get that.
we do really well in spring sports, Final Four in basketball, Sweet 16 in gymnastics. Softball has made the Sweet 16. They'll be playing Saturday. Baseball looks primed and ready to host a regional, maybe a super regional, can possibly get to the College World Series. Golf is on the verge of winning another national championship. We just had an individual golfer win the national championship back-to-back for the first time in 50 years. We do well in spring sports. What y'all win so far?
Wednesday.
And Elite 8 appearance.
They don't enforce regular criminal activity.
FM Talk 1065.
It makes football season not so hard when you have the other sports.
Mike and Stu on FM Talk 1065.
Hi, Michael. Hey, you know what happens next month?
What?
We got Amtrak service to New Orleans, Louisiana.
You know,
and back.
I'm so excited about this
So am I.
because I can leave over there on a Friday afternoon, maybe, and come back Sunday. And I
Because
get,
you've got a friend with a condo in New Orleans, don't you?
he's got 2 opportunities there
No.
to stay at, and but I just like the fact that I don't have to drive.
Right, exactly.
And you see things on a railroad track, on a train, that you don't see on the interstate. You really do.
Right.
And I remember going to LA one time on Amtrak back in the 60s.
From Mobile?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
We changed trains in New Orleans and then went out to LA, saw some beautiful, interesting sights. And driving through Louisiana, you actually saw houses up on stilts in the swamp with boats pulled up to no land. Just houses in the swamp. Depending on, there probably was when the tide went down.
Yeah.
And then of course, you saw the flat the flat prairies, out west and
Texas and New
and
Mexico.
the beautiful colors. And we got held up in one town because a tornado had went through ahead of time and they were trying to repair the tracks.
Yeah.
So we could make our trip. We went up in the mountains and you can look down like thousands of feet and you get dizzy. And,
So it would have been Sierra Madre.
I don't know, but
the Sierras right there. in
it was great.
California.
It was
You know what I
great.
mean? Or Santa Monica. I mean, that's the mountain
Yeah.
range right outside Los
Right.
Angeles. Santa Monica Mountain.
But I'm excited because I can go there and I can eat and drink
And then
All the
nap
way-
all the way home.
and do that and all the way up to the time I get on the train and come back. And there's probably a car on that train where I
We'll
could go
see.
get a cocktail.
Actually, they got on-board menus. I mean, you got the City of New Orleans menu, the Crescent menu, Lakeshore Limited menu, a Texas Eagle menu.
And I have friends, they used to go once a year.
Ooh,
They
I've
used,
never had Eagle.
they used to,
Texas Eagle, so I don't know if that's the same.
Oh, okay.
I
That's probably something.
have friends, once a year, they would go on the City of New Orleans to Chicago and back.
What you're saying is that's just a brand of, and it's a special type of menu. It's not.
Oh.
No.
Well, it's Texas, It's
It's
its own culture.
beef paprikash,
But yeah, they would
Paprikash.
they would they'd book
The
them.
Midwest Bowl is cultural.
You know that I'm from Kansas. Well, yeah.
Kansas, they think culture means good sour cream.
There is that.
Yeah, so Steve,
Yes.
Mexican seafood coming to Sims.
Mm. But you didn't tell me when.
I don't know when
They
either.
don't know when.
Man, I was doing the best I could with the language barrier.
Like me with paprikas. does.
Apricot.
Well, I've opened like 5 new accounts in the
Uh,
last couple of weeks. They're all Mexican restaurants. So I think I'm going to learn Spanish here soon.
It's very helpful in this industry.
Yeah, well, it is. It is.
And
And,
the guy used to work at Macaroni Grill with, it was a group of Hondurans.
Mhm.
They all lived in the same apartment. Great guys, worked hard, tiny. One dude came up to like my belly button. I mean, and that's the indigenous tribe, the tribes down in that area before
Mhm.
they came in were quite short.
Yeah.
But this one dude, Heidi, every day he would ask me to help him. And we had a chart in the back that were common phrases in English and then how to say them in Spanish. And he would ask me to help him with the English one. And it always started with oso, which is bear, big bear. It's what he used to call me, oso. And como se dice, which is how do you say? And then he would say the phrase in Spanish. I would look at it in English and then help him pronounce it. One day he threw me for a loop and he goes, oso, como se dice, como se dice? You want to know how to say, how do you say? See, how you do say. No. How do you say? How you do say. No. How do you say? How you do say. Could not conjugate that verb the way we did.
Yeah.
It was just, and I finally just went, perfect.
English is one of the toughest languages to learn
It
because
is.
there's so many duplicitous ways.
And
of
you've
saying
got a
things.
lot of different languages wedged in there. It's mostly Anglo-Saxon, which is a Germanic language.
Mhm.
But you had a lot of Latin influence because
Mhm.
France was right there across the English Channel. And starting with William I in 1066, every king was French speaking by birth, not
Now,
English speaking.
Pedro's has got, a really good street taco with the Mexican shrimp. So, yeah, I think we should competition that in Sims.
Right, Taqueria Mexicana right here, Taqueria Mexico,
Mhm.
right
Okay.
next to us.
Yeah.
They have cachete tacos. Cachete is the cheek,
Oh, okay.
and they slow roast it, and then they throw it on the grill and get it crispy and throw it in that taco. It's even
Oh.
better than lingua.
Wow.
Even better than lingua.
Ooh.
It's so good. I was stopped in a couple of weeks ago.
Wowie.
I got
Have one lingua and two cachete.
Where's it going to be located?
Where the Moe's barbecue was,
Oh,
in the
okay.
shopping center with the Walmart.
Ah,
There used to be the town hall, and Sims Town Hall was at Walmart.
Okay. Yeah, I remember right there on the corner. Okay. Yeah. By Hibbert's.
Yeah, like 3 different gyms all in that one.
Yeah.
There's 4 gyms in Sims, 3 of them are in the
Are they
same
saying
shop.
something? Are they trying to say something?
Yeah.
If you've been in the Sims Walmart, they need to say something.
Because if you went to Moe's and then you walked out, you weren't walking to the gym, you were walking home.
I'll say this, at most pizza places in America, the most popular pizza is pepperoni, second is cheese. Then you start getting the other stuff. At Sims House of Pizza,
Mm.
it's the meat lover.
I bet.
Don't believe me? Walk into the Sims Walmart. The smallest size in men's and women's is extra large. It's big.
Ah,
We big out in Sims. We are healthy,
yeah.
chunky.
I
Mikey
don't know
fit
about
right
healthy, but
That was a
chunky.
people watching reference. That's what that.
Yeah.
Well, that's everywhere.
Mikey fit
Sadly,
right in.
that's everywhere. And so I've set a goal for by July.
You are looking svelte.
I'm wearing black.
Yeah.
But no, I've set a goal for July 4th. I'm gonna have lost the weight that I gained back after I lost all the weight. So, which is 39 pounds. I need to lose 39 pounds. And then I'll start my other diet of getting down to below 200.
There you
So
go.
what is your dietary plan to do that?
Meat and lean, a lean and green at night.
Yeah, plenty of vegetables. Have you been to Cava? I mean, we don't normally go to chain restaurants, but have you been to Cava up here yet?
No.
Dude, you can do bowls with anything
Yeah.
you want in it. Those spicy meatballs, right up your alley.
Yeah.
And it's Mediterranean food. It's all extremely healthy.
Mhm.
Nothing's fried. But Yeah, but you can have the bowls over different types of greens. You can have it over grains like quinoa or rice.
Well, the thing is, trying to lose weight, you don't need the rice.
Right, but they also have a mixed greens.
The
that
greens
they
would be
use
great.
today. It's
I
really
found
good.
when I go to a buffet, I just try to do vegetables and lean.
My brother
That's the dessert.
loves the neighbor's chicken in Tillman's Corner. He goes and gets the all you can eat, and all he gets is one chicken thigh, and then he just keeps getting the vegetables. You know, 3 vegetables. You get pieces of chicken and 3 vegetables, and he just keeps refilling the vegetables. That's how you do that.
Right.
No sodas. Soda's out. Forget soda.
I don't
Oh,
know
no, I
that
don't
you've
drink
ever
soda.
drank-
I don't drink
Yeah.
sodas.
Yeah.
Really. Folks, get out there, support local, be local, buy local. Thanks for all those who texted in and called in today for wishing us a happy anniversary. I mean, anyway,
At 12th anniversary, that's the pleather anniversary, right?
that is.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
next year, this next year is going to be great.
You know what the 13th anniversary is?
What is that?
Provolone.